Okay, we're in Parshas Vayeira, page 78 in the Stone Chumashim. We're up to Pasuk Zayin, 4 lines from the end of the page. Okay, story up to now. The Malachim come, visit Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu is talking to Hashem. He says, "Wait, God, I have guests to take care of." He says, "Please don't pass by. Come on, I want to do hospitality. I'll take bread and I'll give you to eat, and then you can continue going on." Like the Gemara says, we learn from here that like Avraham Avinu was a good man. He spoke little and did a lot. He said, "I'll give you some bread," and he ended up giving him a whole feast with cattle and tongue and everything else. Okay, so they agreed to him. Why did they agree right away to Avram and not to Lot? By Lot, they started arguing with him. So the Gemara said, Rashi said, we mentioned last week, a Mesarvin L'Gadol. You don't refuse a great person. A great person asks you something, you don't refuse him. So Avram Avinu was a great man, so they didn't refuse him. Lot wasn't such a great man, so therefore the Malachim, the angels, actually denied him. And then he bugged them, he bothered them, so they decided to stay by him. So the last pasuk we learned, Avram Avinu went to Sarah and to the tent, and he said, "Hurry up, bring the finest flour, lushi vasi uges, knead them, and make them into round cakes." Okay, and they discussed, it was Pesach, according to one opinion, it was, most opinions say it was Pesach. And therefore he baked uges, she told him to bake matzahs. Why did she need to make 3 saw? It's a lot of flour, by the way. So this is where we left on last week. The Mepharshim explained because probably the other people in the household also ate together with them. So therefore he told them to make a lot. Okay. Pasuk Zayin. Velabakar ratz Avram. Simply means Avram ran to the herd. Vayikach ben bakar rach v'seiv. He took a calf, tender and good. Vayiten alanad, and he gave it to the lad to get it ready. Meaning, who was this? Yishmael. The Rashi says Avram Avinu wanted to train him in the midst of hospitality. You come closer, don't because she's there. You come closer. So he wanted to educate, Yishmael to do the mitzvah, so they do the shechita and get it ready for them to eat. Now, there's another thing over here. The Gemara says the fact that the pasuk says, what did he take? Ben Bakar, Rach, V'Teiv. Okay? So the Gemara learns out from here, he actually gave him 3 calves. He didn't take 1 calf, he gave him 3 calves. Why did he give the guest a calf per person is a little bit too much. Even a calf, it's still a lot. So Rashi says, the Gemara, it's interesting, the Gemara B'Metzia discusses this whole story with Avram with the guests. The interesting Gemara B'Metzia discusses all these stories with Avram Avinu and the guest. So the Gemara learns from here, he took 3 animals because he wanted each one to have a tongue, which was a delicacy. For certain people it still is, certain people hate it, but there was a delicacy. He said, I want to give everybody tongue.
Cook it.
Huh? They cooked it, they prepared it. Now, what does it mean over here, Ala Bakar Atzavam? Let's take it simply. What it means is, he just had a bris. He's on the 3rd day of his bris, 99-year-old guy. Okay, you can imagine. And yet he runs to bring 3 cattle. And then he takes the cattle and he gives it to Yishmael and he says, okay, whatever, broil it, make prime rib, I don't know, whatever he whatever he did. So the Torah is simply telling us what he did. But the Medrash says a deeper meaning over here. Okay? Ala Bakar, the word Bakar, Ha-Bakar, is the same letters as the word Ha-Kever, the grave. What happened was, the Medrash says the following story. When Avram Avinu went to grab the calf ran away. And Avram Avinu, therefore it says, Rotz Avram, if it's right the cattle in his house, where's he running to? I mean, you don't run, it's close by. So the Medrash says like this, Avram Avinu took the calf, it ran away from him, and it ran. Avram Avinu chased it. Rotz Avram, where did he go? Aval Bakar. to the same letters as the word kever. So the Medrash says like this: the calf ran into Ma'aras HaMachpelah, where Adam and Chava were buried, and Avraham Avinu chased the calf into the kever, and he saw. Don't ask me what it means. Adam and Chava reclining on their couches, candles burning above them, enveloped in incense-like fragrance. So when Avraham Avinu saw that, he said, "I want this burial plot." Therefore, why did he buy Ma'aras HaMachpelah? Because he knew, like this, it seems that nobody knew where Avraham Avinu where Adam and Chava were buried. But now Avraham Avinu found out, he ran, and therefore that's the grave that he wanted for him, for Sarah, and then for himself and the kids, and so on and so forth. Now, what does this mean? Trust me, I don't know. Adam and Chava, look at this old couple who's dead already, long time. Yeah, 1,000 years dead. Okay, approximately 1,000 years until the story. From Adam's death until the story. And they're sitting, reclining on the couches with some nice fragrance in the room. So obviously, it's a much, much deeper meaning than reclining basically represents relaxation, enjoyment. So sitting in Gan Eden, like it says, Tzaddikim sit in Gan Eden. They're not sitting on chairs in Gan Eden. What it means is sitting, you're comfortable. The neshamas are comfortable in Gan Eden with the spirituality. It's all spiritual terms. But anyway, this is what it says over here. He ran to the grave. Now, this shows two things. Number one, the Rashbam explains, Avraham Avinu said little. He said, "I'm going to give you bread," and then he runs to the cattle. Secondly, the Ramban explains that even though he was old right after a bris, he ran to do the mitzvah. By the way, from here, the Gemara learns out the concept: Zrizim magdimim lemitzvah. Zealous people run to do mitzvahs, even though it's before Matan Torah, and you don't learn out dinim from before Matan Torah. But this is not a din. This is more of a philosophical approach to mitzvahs, and that you could learn out from before Matan Torah, before the Torah was given. Okay. Now, what's another interesting din? There's a din in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Shabbos. There's a din in Hilchos Shabbos. There's a mitzvah for everybody to do something for Shabbos. So in Shulchan Aruch it says, based on the Gemara in Shabbos says this, that even the greatest of tzaddikim that had servants, we find in the Gemara each one of them did something on their own for Shabbos. This one got the candles ready, this one chopped the wood, this one made the fire, this one. Everybody of the Tanoim and Amiroim, they did something themselves, even though they had a lot of servants that could have done it. They wanted to do the mitzvah themselves. And therefore it's a din Shulchan Aruch that even the husband has to do at least one thing for Shabbos, not eat the food besides that. The one thing in the preparation for Shabbos. And they say, from here we learn out that Avraham Avinu loved the mitzvah. He didn't want servants to do it. He wanted to do it himself. He could have sent the servants to the cattle. He could have, whatever. He didn't do it. They say Rabbi Yitzchak of Aditcher was known for his hospitality, and he would do even the menial things, the not such refined things to do. And his father-in-law was very upset with him. "What are you working like this? You have servants to do it. What are you doing it yourself?" So Rabbi Yitzchak said to him, "Shall I give away the mitzvah of hospitality to pay somebody else for taking away my mitzvah?" He said, "What do you think? I should pay somebody to take away my mitzvah? Why should I pay somebody? How might as well do the mitzvah myself? I'm going to pay somebody to take away my mitzvah? That's unheard of." Okay. And by the way, the Gemara says in Bava Metzia, we said the whole Gemara is over here. The Gemara in Bava Metzia says he gave each, the three cattle, he got three guys, each one to do it. So in Pshat, the first one, the main one, that was Yishmael. Okay, and he went away right away to do it. Vayikach chema v'cholov. He took. Some people normally interpret chema as butter. Here the Mefarshim, based on Targum, translated as cream, not butter. In Hebrew today, chema is butter, but here the Mefarshim type chema is cream. He took the cream and the milk, and the cattle which he made, vayitin lefneim, he gave it before them. And they sat, Avram Avinu stood over them under the tree, because Avram Avinu told him, go, take some shade, and it was a hot day. He told him, go sit under the tree, you get some shade, and they ate. This pasuk is, whoa. What goes on in this pasuk is unbelievable. First of all, the obvious question is, what happened to the bread? Okay. He told Sarah to make bread, ugais. Okay. Then he ran to get the meat. Then the pasuk says he took the milk, or the butter and the cream, and then the milk and the meat, and he gave it to them. What happened to the bread? So Rashi says, interestingly, that day that the Malachim came, they were going to tell her that she's going to have a baby, and she said, I don't even have a period, how am I supposed to be able to conceive? That day that the Malachim came, Sarah got back her menstrual cycle. Okay, so therefore, she was in the middle of making the dough, and she became nida, she became impure, and Avram Avinu ate only food of purity. It was called chulin shenasa taras hakodesh. In other words, halachically, if that doesn't belong to the Beis Hamikdash, it's not truma or something like that, you're allowed to eat it, even if you're impure. There are certain great tzaddikim, Avram Avinu, obviously in the Gemara, many sages ate chulin, only chulin shenasa taras hakodesh. Only chulin, meaning everyday stuff that was made with purity. So Avram Avinu was one of those people. Sarah became nida, so therefore he couldn't serve the bread because he didn't eat it himself. He wasn't going to give it to the guests, which is another interesting halachic issue in itself I'll get to in a second. And that's why he didn't bring bread. That's what Rashi quotes, okay? Now, other Mefarshim say, Rashbam, Radak, Avram Avinu did serve him bread, because that's the staple of the meal. And not only that, in a few psukim, when the angels asked, where's Sarah? And Avram Avinu said she's in the tent, right? So Rashi says in the Gemara, what did Malachim ask him where she is? What's their business where his wife is? So the Gemara says, and Rashi brings it down, they wanted to give her kaish bracha. When you bench over a cup, you give it out to people, it's a bracha, kaish bracha it's called. So they wanted to give her kaish bracha. So the question is, if they didn't have bread, there's no bechat hamazon, then there's no benching. If there's no benching, how do you get kaish bracha? So therefore the Mefarshim say, we must say there was bread. Why doesn't it say here that Avram gave it to them? It's understood. Bread is the staple of every meal, so it's understood. Avram Avinu gave the angel, the Torah doesn't even have to say it. When Avram Avinu was telling Sarah to make it, it was to show that he heard it up, and she should be part of the mitzvah also. But the fact that he put in front of the guest, he gave him bread, that's obviously understood. And from the fact that they benched, showed definitely that they washed. So Rashi says, by the way, the Mefarshim say Rashi doesn't exclude it. Rashi says the bread Sarah made, he didn't bring to them because it became tamei, became impure. But the other bread he was able to get somewhere else. Okay. Okay. And as unfortunately, say Torah doesn't have to say all details. Now, there's another major question over here. How did Avram Avinu give him treif? He took milk, cream, and meat, and he put it in front of them. The question is, how does Avram Avinu, if Avram Avinu kept the Torah, how was he able to give the malachim meat and milk together? Got it? So this is a very big controversy in the Rishonim, and the Gemara doesn't talk about it. But the Gemara talks about that the Avos kept the Torah, but the question is, How much, who, what, when, where. Meaning as follows. There's another medrash that says, that Avraham Avinu didn't keep the Torah before it was given. There's such a medrash. And therefore, when the Malachim ate meat and milk together, there's a medrash that says, everybody knows the Gemara. The Gemara in Shabbos says that when Hashem was giving the Torah to the Jews, the angels came, the Malachim came, and they said, why are you giving it to the earthly people? Give it to us. We want the Torah. So Hashem said to Moshe, answer them. There's a lawsuit against you. You want to take the Torah down to earth, the Malachim want it in heaven. So the Gemara in Shabbos says, Moshe Rabbeinu went through each one of the 10 commandments. He says, okay, I'm God that took you out of Egypt. Were you in Egypt? No, you weren't in Egypt. Okay, it doesn't apply to you. Next one, not to swear falsely. You ever do business that you have to swear? No, it's not for you. Honor your father and mother. You have a father and a mother, you don't have a father and mother. He went through each one of the 10 commandments. You don't do business, you don't kill, you don't lie. You don't have to keep Shabbos, you never work. All these things that Moshe Rabbeinu told them, and therefore, Malachim agreed and said, okay, you got the Torah. This medrash says something else. That when Moshe Rabbeinu was about to get the Torah, the Malachim came and said, give us the Torah. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, answer them. So the Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu said to them, you guys want Torah, by Avraham Avinu, you Malachim ate treif. You ate meat and milk. Wow. So how do you want Torah? You're not going to get Torah. Torah says no, you have to keep kosher. You guys ate meat and milk together. By the angels, I'm saying before, after. So you ate treif, so you don't get the Torah. And the Malachim said, okay, you're right. So there's two different Medrashim. Based on this, there's a lot of people that say, based on that Medrash, it seems that Avraham Avinu didn't keep the Torah, because if the Malachim didn't eat treif, so how can Moshe Rabbeinu tell you ate treif? That means Avraham Avinu gave him treif. So how could he give him treif if he didn't eat treif? So the answer is, according to that opinion in Medrash, the Avos did not keep the Torah. According to the opinion that says Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov kept the Torah, how did he give him meat and milk together? So if you look the order in the pasuk, it answers the question itself. It doesn't say he took the cattle and meat and milk and cream and milk. First he gave him dairy. Then so then he gave him the meat. In other words, we know between milk and meat, some people don't even wait, they just rinse their mouth. Between meat and milk, you have to wait 6 hours. Yeah? So therefore, what does the pasuk say? Now Avraham Avinu kept the Torah. And they explain it even more. What did he do over here? It takes time to shecht an animal, clean it, broil it, barbecue it. It takes time. Yeah, you can't do it in 2 minutes. Right? You have to salt it. Avraham Avinu was, again, if he kept Torah, you had to kosher the meat. Even though for broiling you don't need to kosher the meat, halachically, so maybe he didn't kosher the meat. But everything takes time. You have to take off the hide. There's so much to do. So the Mefarshim explain like this. Avraham Avinu didn't give him the meat right away, because that took time to prepare. But meat and milk and cream or butter, that was ready right away. So the bread and the milk and the butter and the cream, that he gave right away. Later, when it was ready, he gave him ben abakar asherasa. So if you hold Avraham Avinu kept the Torah, then it's not a problem in this pasuk, because first he ate milk, and then a while later he ate meat. So it wasn't the problem that he didn't keep Torah. But there are opinions that say that Yitaka didn't keep Torah, that the Avos didn't keep the Torah, and
What does that opinion say about all the time before the Avos keep the Torah?
The what?
What does that opinion say about all the time before that the Avos are keeping the Torah clear?
How do you know they're keeping the Torah?
Oh, so they just would say no. They won't keep it.
Huh?
At how many places it comes down?
First of all, this is Daskenim that quotes this Medrash that said when Hashem gave the Torah to the Jews, the Malachim said give it, And Moshe Rabbeinu said to the angel, the interpreter, it's milk and meat together, and you ate it. So why are you better than us, people? Now, there's a lot of opinions about this, by the way. In Midrash, not in Midrash, in Rishonim, that Taskim Balatesis, and others, a lot of opinions. First of all, there are opinions that say, like the Ramban, that the Avis, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, only kept Torah when they lived in Israel. Outside of Israel, they did not keep Torah. Rashi disagrees, because at the beginning of Parashat Vayishlach, when Yaakov Avinu says, Im Lovan Garti, Rashi says Garti is 613, V'tayag mitzvah shamarti. That means even by Lavan's house, Yaakov Avinu is saying he kept Torah. So there are opinions that say the Ovis kept Torah only in Eretz Yisrael. There is an opinion, seemingly from that Medrash, that the Ovis didn't keep Torah at all. Maybe certain mitzvahs, but not as a rule that they kept all of Torah. And then there's a Medrash that says only in Eretz Yisrael, and another opinion like Rashi says, and others that say they kept Torah everywhere. In Love and Garti. By the way, this is how some commentaries explain when in this week's Parsha, Vani kavei mi padan meisa alai Rachel. Rachel died. When he was coming back to Eretz Yisrael, Rachel died. So Rashi says the famous Medrash, Rachel mavakal baneh, because Hashem foresaw that, this is what Yaakov Avinu told Yosef. I know you're upset with me that I didn't bury your mother in Marsa Machpelah. I buried her by Kever Rachel. But you should know that many years later the Jews are going to run into Golus and they're going to run by the place where Rachel's buried, and Rachel's going to go up to Hashem and cry and beg Hashem to help out the children. And Hashem's going to listen to her prayers. So that's what Yaakov Avinu said, that's why he buried her there. It's interesting. Other Mefarshim say a whole different concept. They say that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov only kept Torah in Eretz Yisrael. Because there's the famous question, how did Yaakov marry two sisters? If you marry two sisters, not only is it punishable by death, the kids are mamzerim. I mean, it's a real adulterous, not adultery, but it's a real forbidden relations. So how did Yaakov marry two sisters? So some Rishonim answer, they only kept Torah in Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, outside of Eretz Yisrael, in Lavan's house, he was able to marry two sisters. It wasn't also for Goyim. Even today, it's not forbidden for a Goy. It's only forbidden for a Jew. Therefore, Yaakov Avinu was allowed to marry two sisters. Now, as soon as he's coming into Eretz Yisrael, now he keeps Torah. He's not allowed to marry two sisters. So who got to die? Rachel, because she was married second. He first married Leah, so Leah was legit. Now he marries Rachel, which was forbidden. So now that he's coming into Eretz Yisrael, as soon as he's coming into Eretz Yisrael, so that's what the commentators, that's why Rachel had to die, because in Eretz Yisrael he kept the whole Torah. So there's three opinions. One opinion says they didn't keep Torah necessarily. One opinion is they only kept Torah in Eretz Yisrael. And then you have Rashi's opinion and others that say they kept Torah all over the place. Even by Lavan, even how did he marry two sisters? When we get there, we'll learn it. I mean, there's an answer to the question. There's a lot of answers to the question, but one the Rebbe gives a very logical answer according to Rashi, who's in Pshat, what the answer is. Okay. Next, which means like this. He didn't eat. He said, Vayeira, they ate. Avraham Avinu was standing over them, taking care of his guests. Correct? Okay. Now, there's a lot of questions. Rashi says, Vayochelu. Rashi says, Malo, angels don't eat. Right? The angels don't eat. Right? So Rashi says, it appeared as if they ate. Okay? Mikan, you don't change from the custom of the place. There's a famous expression that the Goyim have, when in Rome, do as the Romans. It's a Gemara, Asis Lakarta Zalbin Musa. It's Aramaic. Azal Lakarta, you come to a city, Azalbin Musa. Follow the customs of the city. And that's how the Gemara explains. Moshe Rabbeinu went up 40 days to Har Sinai, and Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Jews, Lechem le'yachal mayim le'shasisi, I didn't eat or drink. How can Moshe Rabbeinu not eat up there? He's a human being. The answer is, when in Rome, there was the Romans. He went up to Har Sinai, they went into the realm of the angels. Angels don't eat. He didn't eat. Malachim come to earth, so therefore they have to eat. So Rashi says, though, they didn't actually eat. What did they do? They made it look as if they ate. That's what Rashi says. Okay? So now, there's a very simple question. Did or did not Avram fulfill the mitzvah of Achnosas Orchim? The whole proof, the Gemara says, is that having hospitality is greater than talking to Shechina. But if the angels didn't eat, then he didn't do hospitality.
It's the kafir,
Yeah, but that's not Achnosas Orchim. By the way, no. Achnosas Orchim halachically is you give him food. Halachically, the mitzvah of Achnosas Orchim to give food. So the question is, if the angels actually didn't eat, so then how did he do the mitzvah? And how can we learn out a whole din, a whole law from this thing, that Achnosas Orchim is greater than Kabbalas Pnei Shechina? So, there's a lot of answers to this. First of all, one opinion says, Taisus and Bava Metzia brings down an opinion that says that out of respect to Avram Avinu, this old man, running around right after a bris giving him food, it says Hashem opened their mouths and they physically ate. Taisus brings down an opinion that they ate. Medrash HaGadol says, what does it mean Vayechelu? Not the angels, all the other people that were there. But again, you still have the same question. How did he actually fulfill Achnosas Orchim? Okay, so this is like this. Now the Vayeira quotes, and there's also interesting. For the Vayeira says, the word achal, he brings a proof. The Vayeira says many psukim, achal does not mean only eating, it means consumed. Yeah, by the burning bush, hasneh einenu ukol, which is achal. What does it mean? It didn't become consumed. So therefore, what? Yeah. So actually, they actually elevated the food like a korban. So according to that, they really did eat, not physical eating, but they ate, on their level of eating, they ate. So he did fulfill the mitzvah of Achnosas Orchim. There's another answer also that the Rebbe gives, and he says like this: if I want to give you tzedakah, and you don't take it, I didn't get the mitzvah. Right? One of the reasons we learned, why is there no bracha on the mitzvah of tzedakah? Tzedakah is such an important mitzvah, it's equal to all mitzvahs. Yeah? Before a person is about to give tzedakah, they should make a bracha. Shekachonu b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu, litain tzedakah, on the sinus tzedakah, whatever, depending on the Rishonim, how you learn it. Why is there no bracha on tzedakah? So the Rashba, one of the Rishonim, answers, because you don't know if the poor man's going to take it. You have to make a bracha before you do the mitzvah, right? So now you're about to give the poor man a coin, and you're going to make a bracha, and then the guy might say, no, I'm not taking it. So then you made a bracha in vain.
So you don't...
Which means, from there you see clearly, that if the guy doesn't take the tzedakah, you didn't do the mitzvah.
No?
But by Achnosas Orchim, the Rebbe says, it's interesting, it's not so much the guests eating, it's what you're doing hospitality. Whether they eat or not is not your problem. So if this is the way Rebbe explains, according to Rashi, which means that if you give guests food and they don't eat, in that respect you did do the mitzvah. Because by Achnosas Orchim, it's what your intention was more than the outcome like it is by every other mitzvah, tzedakah or whatever it may be, where over there you mamash have the outcome that you have to do the mitzvah. What were you saying? No.
Okay, I said, if you're giving the tzedakah and the person is not taking, but you're not getting the mitzvah because he didn't take it.
Right.
It's thrown.
You had good intentions, but you didn't get the mitzvah.
No mitzvah.
What do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. But if you didn't, actually, guy didn't take the money, you're not makam the mitzvah tzedakah. That's usually not the problem. The problem is the other way. There was a guy collecting money for tzedakah. So they said, were you successful? He said 50%. What do you mean 50%? The poor are willing to take, the rich are not willing to give. He says, that was only 50% successful. We said many times there's a Chassidish answer to the question, why there's no bracha and tzedakah? It's based on the story in the Gemara Nachum Ish Gamza when the poor man came to him. So you can imagine a guy, a chassid, wants to make a bracha, he's about to give tzedakah. So he's going to have to put on his hat and jacket, maybe go to the mikveh first, put on his hat and jacket, put on his gartel. It will take him 20 minutes until he gets to the bracha. By that time, the guy might be dead or he might be starving. So the Chassidic masters say this. When it comes to mitzvah tzedakah, there's no time for a bracha. Give him the money and be quiet. So what he does, hacking a child with a bracha, you're going to take 20 minutes to say a bracha, just give him the money, that's what he needs. Give him the food, that's what he needs. Don't make a thing with the food. Okay, then it says like this. Vayeira, so he said to him, and if you notice in the Chumash also, there's dots on the word Elav. We're on page 80, top line. Yeah, Vayeira Elav, they said to him, there's a nocket on the Aleph and the Yud and the Vav. 3 of the letters have dots on it. So Rashi said, Reb Shimon Elazar says, whenever the Torah uses a letter, a dot. By the way, in the Sefer Torah, there's also dots on those letters. If there's a dot on the letter, you learn out something from it. Now, Vayemnu Elav, okay, now, so Rashi says, they asked him how Sarah is, and they asked her, in other words, the din is like this, the Gemara learns out, that when you come, Rashi says, here, Lamadnu, Rashi says, Sheyishal Adam b'achsanya shalei, when a person comes to as a guest in somebody's house, you ask the Isha la Isha, you ask the man, how is your wife? And you ask the wife, how's the husband? Now, the question is, if they're angels, don't they know where Sarah is? What do you mean, Ayi Sarah Ishtach, where is she? So again, some of Mepharshim answers simply, it was a conversation opener. Like Hashem said to Adam and Rishon after the sin, Ayako, where are you? Rashi says just to open the conversation. So they wanted to tell Sarah news, right? So they said to her, they said to him, where is she? In order to be able to continue saying. Other people say no. It was, Ramban says it was a rhetorical question. But the Gemara, again, in Bab Metzia says, they wanted to give her Keisha Bracha. They wanted to give her the wine from the Birchat Hamazon, from the benching. And therefore, they did it. Another interesting thing, there's a Tosfos in Shabbos, this is a very interesting thing. The question is, didn't the angels know where she is? So Tosfos in Bab Metzia brings on an answer, an opinion that says, angels, when they come to this world, only know what their mission is and nothing else. So Yitaka didn't know where Sarah was. They didn't know. How did they know? Their mission was to tell her. They didn't know where she was. They had to tell her. They had to find out where she is. Part of the mission is their mission was, that angel, was to tell her she's having a baby. Yeah, that was his mission. Everything else he doesn't know. So Yitaka didn't know. That's what Tosfos says. Yitaka didn't know where Sarah was, and therefore they're asking, where's Sarah, your wife? And he answered in Eva oil. Okay? Another opinion says, why did they ask, where Sarah is? Because like this. Avraham Avinu was already promised by God that he's gonna have a baby. Right? Hashem told him, my bris bein absarim, he's gonna have a baby. He should call him Yitzchak even. Sarah wasn't told. So Malachim wanted to tell Sarah that she's having a baby. There's an interesting halacha. The Gemara says, "Haneisim matan al chaverei tzarich lahidiyei." If you want to give somebody a gift, you have to let them know before you're giving them a gift. They're going to give Sarah a gift of a child, they had to tell her first. So therefore, why did they ask where's Sarah? Now another opinion says, why did they ask Avraham Avinu where Sarah is if they knew, according to the other opinions that they knew? So they say to bring out how modest she was. She was, kokvuda bas melech pnima, she was inside the tent, she didn't mingle with the men, and therefore that brings out how modest she was. Avraham Avinu answered, also, according to Rachaim, he answers a different answer. What did Avraham Avinu say? Hinei ba'oil, meaning she's right here. Hinei means in front of you, right? It's like zeh, hinei. Hinei Elokeinu zeh. I mean, when you hear. So Avraham Avinu said to them, she's right here in the tent. She heard everything you say. I mean, they heard everything. They didn't tell her yet. But they said, Vayemru. Now, why does it say Vayemru? How many malachim are going to tell Sarah? One, Michal. Right? Rafal came, the three guys, the three musketeers. Michal, Gabriel, and Rafal. Rafal healed Avram. Right? Michal was to tell Sarah she's having a baby and to save light. And Gabriel was there to destroy Sodom. So why the question is, Vayemru Elav, they plural said to him, where's your wife? One of the guys, what do all three have to ask the question? It's one angel that's going to tell Sarah she's having a baby. She should say, where's Sarah? I have to go see her. And this is again an interesting thing. It's all inyan of modesty. If one guy asks about your wife, that causes suspicion. Maybe he's interested in her. Three guys at the same time are asking the question, then there's no suspicion. And Torah is telling us all this aspect of modesty. Not to have any suspicion that one of them might be interested in Sarah, because everybody knew she was a beautiful woman and everybody knew what was going on. But Yemru, all three said not to cast any suspicion on them, on these people, whoever they are, angels or people, that they shouldn't be asking questions, that they shouldn't. It would be totally immodest. Okay. The Yemen, so Avraham Avinu said, Inei Ba'el, she's in the tent. Okay? Now it says, Vayemer, singular. Because now there's no more suspicion. And one person, Michal, had to tell Sarah what the story is. Vayemer, he said Michal, and he said like this, Sheiv Oshu Veilacha, I will return to you, Ka'es Chaya, exactly in this time we'll see what it means. Meaning like this. They didn't tell to Sarah, because you see the pasuk, Sarah was listening from behind. They asked Avraham Avinu a question, where's Sarah? So what did Avraham answer? She's right here. Meaning, you could talk to me, to her. By talking to me, she'll hear you. That's what the pasuk says. Sarah was listening in the tent. That means the Malachim didn't tell it directly to her. Because Avraham Avinu said, you don't need to ask, go to her, you can ask to say it here, and she'll hear what you have to say. And that's what the next pasuk says clearly. What did they say? Exactly a year from now. Okay? Now, Ka'es Chaya means exactly a year from now, and the Medrash says like this. He made a mark on the wall. Okay? Now, the sun comes up and down, it rises and sets every day. Yeah? But the solar year, the sun comes back to the same place. So they made a mark on the wall. He says, you see, when this sun will come back to exactly this place, meaning exactly a year from now, Sarah is going to have a baby. When is it? So he brings down from again.
So was it 9
One
months
second. It's a
or
famous
a
thing.
year?
According to some opinions, it took place after Yom Kippur. Some people say it was Pesach. Some Mefarshim, basically, everybody says that Yitzchak was born on the first day of Pesach. That everybody says. The only question is, when did they come? Before Yom Kippur, whatever it is. Now, the Mefarshim say very simply, Rashi says, when the Malach says, I'm going to come back a year from now and you're going to have a baby, the Malach didn't come back. Michal didn't come back.
A year, not 9 months.
Well, a year from this time that he told them, it didn't say anything how long the pregnancy.
There's certain...
First she's nida, right?
Yeah, that means she's getting a period. That means she now has the capability of...
To get pregnant.
But well, that's we'll see in the pasuk when Sarah heard it, she started laughing. Okay? But, by the way, it's interesting. In Kabbalah, it says like this. Some neshamas need 10 months pregnancy. By the way, nowadays, I know all the doctors go by weeks. Okay? But in Torah, this concept of 9 months. 7 months, 9 months. It says in Kabbalah, certain neshamas takes 10 months pregnancy. In Kabbalah it says, don't ask me what it means, in Kabbalah it says, Eliyahu Navi, his mother was pregnant 12 months before his birth. Certain neshamas, don't ask me what it means. Certain neshamas are 9, most people are 9 months, certain people have 10 months, great tzaddikim are 10 months, and by Eliyahu Navi, he's brought down Kabbalah that his mother was pregnant 12 months. What does it mean? I don't know. It's okay, a snake is pregnant 70 years. What?
Is it because they don't want to be born?
No, it's certain... It's not because they don't want to be born, it's because the preparation for the neshama, learning Torah within the mother, and all those preparations, because it's a greater neshama, it takes an extended period of time. It's interesting, the previous Rebbe brings down in a Sikha, the Alter Rebbe was conceived, the Alter Rebbe was born, Chai Elo. No, the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe were both born Chai Elo. The Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe points out in the Sikha that 9 months before Chai Elo is Yutas Kislev. So the Friedrich Rebbe writes, based on the calculation, 9 months, that the Alter Rebbe was conceived on Yutas Kislev, and he was born 9 months later, Chai Elo. So the Rebbe in a comment, and that's Sikha, whatever it was, asks the question, that year the Alter Rebbe was born was a leap year, so it's really 10 months. That means he wasn't conceived Yutas Kislev, it was Yutas Tevis, right? And the Rebbe writes, in quotes from Kabbalah and sources, that certain neshamas need 10 months pregnancy. This is an interesting...
So they say 40 weeks.
That's what doctors say, yes.
Yes. So it's
The Torah says 9 months.
It's between 9 months and 10 months.
No, not necessarily.
Well,
Because a
4
month is over... 4 weeks is 28 days. Some months have 30 days in Torah, some months have 31. So it's not exactly 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks and 3 days. So when you have 9 months, it's another 27. It's another month. Right? A year is not 48 weeks. It's 52 weeks. Right? It's 4 times 12 is 48. But there's not 4 months in it, 4 weeks in a month. There's more than 4 weeks in a month. 30 or 31 is in Torah calendars. 30 or 31, what?
4.3.
4.3, okay, good. Okay, now by the way, another interesting thing, why does it say Ko'ez Chaya? It's a funny thing. Well, how does the word Chaya get here? So the commentators explain, a midwife is called a Chaya. Right? Kichaya say no. By Mitzrayim with power over there with Shifra and Pua. Yocheved and Elishava, or Miriam and Yocheved, whichever opinion it is. But they were the ones, they're called Chaya. Ki Chaya Seina, they know how to deliver babies. So he's saying, Ko'ez Chaya, meaning in a year, Sarah is going to be having a baby. It's going to be V'yeled Bain. It's going to be a son. Okay, so now Sarah was listening behind the tent. She was in the tent. Okay, she heard him speaking. She came closer to what Radak says. She came closer to hear what the Rataka actually saying. Okay, other Mefarshim, Shamshon Fal Hirsch says another interesting thing. Sarah was very religious, you have to understand. She didn't mingle with the men. Nevertheless, she understood if Avraham Avinu was having guests, he definitely spoke Dvar Torah. Right? It says in Pirkei you have a meal without Dvar Torah, right? What did Avraham Avinu gain by all these meals? He would talk to the people about God and Judaism and, good things. So it says, even though Sarah didn't mingle with the men, she didn't go out there, but she always listened by the entrance of the door to hear what Avraham Avinu would be teaching. She wanted to hear what Avraham Avinu was teaching. Here she moved closer to hear what she was saying. Okay? Now, she was actually listening. Meaning the entrance was behind the angel. Okay? The angels, the pearl, didn't see her because the opening of the tent was behind the angels. So they spoke to Avram, and Sarah heard from behind them. So again, they didn't even see her. Okay, then it says like this: Avram and Sarah were old. 190. Chadalias the Seir Erech Kanashim. Sarah ceased to have the manner of meaning she didn't have a menstrual cycle, she couldn't give birth. So now Vatitzchak Sarah Bekir B'Leimer. Okay? Sarah laughed, and he said, at herself. Simply means Vatitzchak Sarah Bekir B'Leimer, she laughed at herself. Meaning, Avram Avinu, and this is why Hashem got angry at Sarah, why she laughed, and when Avram Avinu laughed, Hashem didn't get angry. Avram Avinu's laugh was joyous laugh. Sarah's laugh was, I'm going to have a baby. It was a laugh, but a doubtful laugh. And obviously, the Mefarshim say, Sarah didn't know there were angels. Because if she knew there were angels, she wouldn't have doubted them. Right? Sarah is a righteous woman. She's not going to doubt angels. At the present, she didn't even know. Okay? She laughed, and inside, meaning at her insides, not within herself. Some of us learn Bekir, but at her insides, meaning utter disbelief that only God can do such a thing. Okay, and that's why Avraham. In fact, some of us say she said, even God can't do this. And that's why Hashem, it's a chuba wind, by the way, blowing. Therefore, Hashem got angry at her and said, what do you mean, you're doubting God? How can you doubt God? I'm telling you. So then the Mefarshim say, first she didn't know there were angels. But then she realized there were angels, so Hashem said, so why are you laughing? They're my messenger.
She wasn't neither then?
Huh? Well, she was.
If she all of a sudden became
neither,
she would say things are happening, and it wouldn't be so surprising.
So that's the question, because, 1 second.
The point that she didn't believe it, means that.
No, I was thinking of that, by the way. If she became needed that day, and that's why the bread wasn't good, according to that opinion, then she obviously there is a change in her body happening.
Right. It wouldn't be so surprising.
Maybe she didn't think it was neither.
Well,
at that age, she thought she'd see this.
Yes,
One second.
They think you're sick.
Oh,
Might be coming.
You know what? So the Mefarshim say this, by the way. The verse does not exclude the accepted interpretation Sarah menstruated that day. She had not realized that her flow was more than unrelated occurrence, certainly not the assumption of childbearing capability. In other words, she became Nida, that she knew, but she didn't think it was okay. Listen.
She's gonna get pregnant.
I could tell you a case, and somebody even called me about this today, that you have women post-menopause that still spot and stain, and it could become a nida. It's not a contradiction. But to say that this is a period, but it goes even further. L'cha'ira, we learned before, Sarah didn't even have a womb. Right? So not only did she get her period back, but she didn't have a womb. So it's like more than just old age. I mean, it was much more than that.
It's whatever God wanted.
Right. That's usually what happens, by the way.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Always.
As long as you know and believe that whatever God wants is what's going to happen anyway. Good.
How long is this story?
There's another interesting question. Hashem told Avram Avinu before the bris, 9 years before the bris, that he's going to have a baby. Why didn't he tell Sarah? If Hashem told Avram, think about it. Hashem told Avram when he was 90, you're having a baby. Yeah? And he was very excited. Why didn't he tell Sarah? Now, normally a husband will go home, if they have a good marriage, which Avram and Sarah definitely had a good marriage, he would tell her, God just told me you're having a baby. And then, so all of a sudden the malachim come and say, "What are you crazy? What are you talking about? Your husband was told 9 years earlier you're going to have a baby." So the Mefarshim say, Takahid Avram didn't tell Sarah. Why? There's an interesting din in Shulchan Aruch, by the way, that nobody keeps. The din, if somebody tells you something, nobody keeps it. If somebody tells you something, you're not allowed to repeat it to anybody unless the person says you can repeat it.
So it does something in confidence.
The Din Shulchan Aruch brings it down in Chusmas Mata. It doesn't say in confidence. The guy tells you something. So some people say, like, again, Avram had no right to tell Sarah because he was not specifically told to do so. Why? Because Avram wanted Sarah should hear the news directly from Hashem himself, or through the angels. Now Sarah didn't know they were angels yet. That's why she still doubted it. What are you looking at? No.
Angels come in.
Angels come in, yeah.
That's with the wind.
By the way, the Gemara says also Megillah. They don't bring it down, but the Gemara Megillah says that there were 7 women prophets, and one of them was Sarah. That's why Hashem told Avram, calls her Shotei Alecha Sarah Shema B'Keli. You have to listen to Sarah. She was greater than Avram Avinu in Nevuah. So she was a Navi. So Avram Avinu said, why should I tell? Maybe if Hashem wants, after the bris, he'll tell her whatever. Okay, so it says, after I have withered, shall I again have delicate skin? And now he's there, Vadaini Zake. And my master, my husband is old. She said, not only am I old, he's even older than me. Which, by the way, is a very interesting thing. The Mefarshim talk about this a little bit later on in Chumash. Yocheved had 3 kids. Moshe Rabbeinu's mother, yeah? Miriam, Aaron, and Moshe. Now, Miriam was 5 years older than Moshe, right? So Miriam was 2 years older than Aaron, who was 3 years older than Moshe. Yeah? How old was Yocheved when she gave birth to Moshe Rabbeinu? 130. That means even the first kid was born at 125. So why is this such a big big thing, yeah. So a lot of Mefarshim answer because some people want to say it could be Yocheved had children earlier also that Torah doesn't talk about. That also could be. But other Mefarshim say simply, the miracle of Sarah wasn't the age. Is what she didn't have a womb and had a baby. That was the uniqueness of Sarah. That a woman had birth. I mean, even though at that time, by the way, after the flood, childbearing years were 35. Look in Chumash. They give it 35 years. Gave birth to this one, that one. So, the fact that Yocheved gave birth at 130 was some type of a miracle, but it's not the great miracle that Sarah had because she didn't have a woman. She still gave birth. Okay, so you say like this. So, according to Daskenim, Barbanel, and other Mefarshim, they say like this: What's she adding over here? My master's old. She says, okay, in my body I saw a change. I got the cycle. Avraham Avinu's body didn't change. Like, how is he going to have a kid? That was her Adaini Zake. Okay?
Yeah, what is she doing? After Sarah Emmanuel, he had more kids with other.
She wasn't
Yeah.
alive then.
Huh?
She wasn't alive then.
What? No, but Avraham Avinu was even older.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So what does she mean that my husband's old?
Huh?
What
Yeah,
does
but
she
this
mean
was-
my husband's old?
But this was a miracle that happened for Abraham too at this time. You know that.
After the Akedah, when it was even much afterwards, when Yitzchak came to bring Rivka, and Hagar married, yeah. After Sarah died, so Sarah died at 127, right? Avraham Avinu was 10 years older than her, so he was 137, the age of the Akedah, right? And then even that, it took a few years until Yitzchak brought Hagar into the house after he married Rivka.
Abraham brought her.
That what?
Abraham.
Yeah, but they say Yitzchak, whatever, whoever brought her. But it was actually, so he was an old man. He was 130, probably close to 140 when he gave birth to two of his kids. He had a bunch of kids.
So there were coins made for Abraham minted, and on one side it had an old couple, and the other side was a young couple
Yeah.
that they fancied.
No, but Sarah over here is saying like this. Okay. And the other Mefarshim sum up the story like this. Sarah never had any doubts. Okay? Her problem was, my body changed. Okay? I believe in a miracle. Remember, she didn't know Hashem told Avraham Avinu he's having a baby. But we said he didn't tell her. So they sum it up like this. Sarah saw a change in her body. She had no doubts that the miracle was going to happen. But she said, my husband's body didn't change. How is he going to have a baby? And she said, Hashem promised him this. Sarah thought maybe his merits were used up when he won the war of the 4 kings against the 5 kings, and he fought himself the war, and he got it. So she thought the merits were used up. Okay?